So in case something happens on screen, just pull one of these things out. It's called a handbook. Got hymns right there and the numbers right in the bulletin. So I know we don't use these often, but in case of emergency, these are great to have. So what's one thing that's unique that's in my office? Who can answer that question? Not me. Don't say that. A little bit unique. What's something in my office that's kind of a bizarre thing to have in a pastor's office? Ben? Well, yeah, that's true. Baseball that. No, it's all the pictures of the pastors, right? All the former pastors. You guys know that? You probably don't even see it anymore if you ignore it. If you haven't been in my office tonight, it's right. Go through the church office, go straight back, and you can see all the former pastors that have served here at St. Michael, going all the way back to the very first one, Pastor Nelson, no, Doran. Doran, first pastor. The pastor was called to be the missionary at large who got St. Michael started, and all the way up to the former pastor, Pastor Schultz, but my picture's not quite up there yet. And maybe one of these years I'll put it up there. Why are those pictures up there? Well, I'll tell you the story. Probably no one knows really the story, but it actually started when I first came here. I was in the back office, the deacon office, and I found a stack of pictures just in the back room there, the office. And I was like, man, we should. And I'm sure at one time they were up, and they're probably in the narthex, all lined up. A lot of churches have the pictures of their former pastors, and they were just not being displayed. And I kind of felt bad. Says, you know what? I'm going to steal an idea from Harry Potter. Because Dumbledore had all the former headmaster's paintings in his office. Now, the cool thing about Dumbledore and those paintings was what? He got to talk to them, and they talked to him back. So if you ever go by my office and hear a conversation, so I put them all up in my office as kind of a good reminder of the pastors who came before me. In the long, good history of St. Michael, there's been a lot of good men, good pastors who came before me, and there's going to be a lot of good pastors, good men who are going to come after me. And it's kind of a humbling reminder for myself that St. Michael is not about me. St. Michael is about really Jesus. Jesus who called these pastors to serve in his congregations at the right time, at the given time, for the given purpose. And yes, Jesus will send other pastors to this congregation as time goes on, and hopefully, prayerfully, until the day Jesus returns. And there's something humbling about that, because it reminds me as a pastor, as I look upon that wall and I see those pastors again, that any success, any good thing that happens to St. Michael wasn't because of my great wisdom or my great leadership or my great skills, but it's because of Jesus. Because there's a lot of great pastors who did wonderful things for this congregation. And again, there will be wonderful pastors going to come after me who will do wonderful things, and what God will work through them. Because the real danger for a pastor is begin to think that their congregation is all about themselves. That it's up to me. Well, let me put it this way. A lot of pastors try to think it's up to me. It's up to my wisdom, my education, my sacrifice. If anything good's going to happen here, it's up to me to get it done. And so when good things do happen, pastors are very tempted to pat themselves on the back and say, well, of course, because look at me. And that's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous place to be. It's a dangerous place for a congregation to be in, to loft up your pastors or to worship your pastors as if they're the reason why their church is going so well. Because we got to turn to the real truth that the person who does the work is who? Is Jesus Christ. Now, there's nothing new about this temptation. I think we all are subjected to this temptation in one form or another. So we begin to look towards ourselves, thinking, yes, it's up to me, it's up to my ability, it's up to my education, my righteousness, my skill set to make things better. But really the one who's working through us, through all of us, is the work of Jesus. So as we get into Lent, and especially as we get into the final weeks, the final days of our Lenten season, our theme for tonight is to remember the wondrous work of God, and especially the wondrous work of Jesus. Because when you look at all the miracles, especially the miracles of Jesus, but just look at the miracles of God throughout the Scriptures, the Old Testament as well as the New Testament, but even the Old Testament, everything that God did, especially in a miraculous way, was to communicate to the people that He was dealing with, to show them that you don't need to trust in yourself. Just trust in me. Follow me. Believe in me. And I will be with you. I will be your God. And things will work out the way they need to be worked out because I'm the one in control. And so as we go through the Old Testament, start with the Old Testament, I was having the kids share what their favorite miraculous story. And there's so much. And in fact, some of the kids even brought up stuff that I even forgot. But we start with our reading from Joshua. Kind of an obscure miracle. I think a lot of people, this is something we don't read too often about this miracle that happened with Joshua and the army of Israel. They just got out from defeating Jericho, which in itself was a miracle. When the people of Israel, we went through that story over the summer, when the people of Israel marched around the city of Jericho, they didn't do anything. They had no battle plans. They had no strategy. They had no armament or skill or courageous fighters. All they did was walk around the city. They did it for 7 days. And on the 7th day, on the 7th turn, they started blowing their trumpets. And what happened to the walls? It came crumbling down. And it wasn't because of seismic or sound wave interference or the ground was loosened by all their marching. It wasn't any of that stuff. It was nothing any natural, but it was a supernatural event. It was a miracle of God. So God can show to the people of Israel, I will give you victory. Days later, now they're fighting the Amorites. And the day's wearing out, and the Israelites are engaging in warfare against the Amorites, and Joshua calls out to God. This is our reading. He calls out to God and asks God to hold the sun, to stop the sun in the sky, so that a few more hours of daylight so they can finish the battle against the Amorites and declare victory. Now think about this. God stopped the sun in the sky. You know how many laws of physics God had to break in order to do that? We're not talking about knocking down walls. We're not talking about parting the Red Sea. We're talking about God stopped the very universe so that the Israelites can defeat the Amorites. That is a huge, what's a big word for huge? It's the biggest miracle I think God could have done. That He broke all laws of physics and the sun has stayed in the sky for a few hours. That's showing us how powerful God is. But it's also showing that it is He who can provide for us. And it's really only He who can provide for us. And to communicate over and over again that we cannot be our own Savior. We cannot be our own God. Whether it's providing manna in the wilderness during the 40 years of water, or providing water from a dry rock, or whether it's Daniel who's being thrown in the lion's den, or the three guys, I'm going to bother with their names this time, but the three guys who were in the fiery furnace and they were never burned. Miracle after miracle of how God blessed the people of Israel. And maybe this was just taken for granted miracles of how they were continue to spread and be bountiful, and they were blessed over and over again. It was God who was providing them. But the real temptation of Israel for every person is that when we get successful, we begin to look at ourselves. And we begin to listen to that lie Satan saying, hey, you don't need God. You don't need His Word. You don't need Jesus. You just need yourself. Just look towards yourself. And you will find your success. You will find your joy. You will find your peace. You will find your righteousness. And that's the dangerous lie. Because we start looking to ourselves. We start listening to ourselves. We start to celebrate our own things. That's where we start to fall apart. And that was the same message when Jesus came. All the wonderful works of Jesus, all those miracles, those signs that He was performing, yes, it was to show that He was the Son of God. It was a way to prove that His message is that He is the God. This is authority you need to listen to. But in many ways, it was to show us that we need Him. That He has come in to give to us the one thing we cannot give to ourselves. And it's not just about walking over dry land. And it's not about just eating manna in the wilderness. It's not even about surviving the lion's den, but what Christ was showing that I am going to do for you. What mankind, what humanity cannot do for themselves. And that was, I'm going to go to the cross. I will live a righteous life. But I will bear, and I will be the one to bear sins of the cross. So, I'm going to say this. I hope this doesn't make me look weird.
You already look weird.
I see. So I do yoga. Now you can laugh. So I do yoga once a week with Heather. I enjoy it because my muscles are so tight. It's great to stretch out. But there's one particular yoga class we go to that the instructor, he gets very, very religious. And there's a lot of religion connected to yoga, and I knew that going into it. Most yoga classes, most yoga instructions, it's just simply a workout and a form of exercise. But this one particular instructor is very, very religious. And she brings the religion right into it. And she said the most profound thing. In one way I agree with her, in another way I somewhat fundamentally disagree with her. But we were doing this simple stretch where, it's just for stretching our hamstrings. You just have to bend over and put your head down to your foot, which I get about, 30 degrees bend in my, I'm so tight. And she says, go all the way down, and her phrase was, look into yourself. And this was her comment. She says, the hardest position for most Westerns is this position. To look towards yourself. You see what she's saying? That most Westerns, and I just kind of parse what she was saying, is that in most Western civilization, we probably look towards money for joy, we look to our successes for security, or we look towards these external things. And what she's saying is a very Hindu, very Buddhist way of thinking, is that if you want to look for inner peace, you find it where? Within yourself. And I disagree on this one point, that I think everyone does look towards themselves, ultimately. We all do turn to ourselves, thinking it's up to me, in one way or another, for me to find security and happiness and understanding and purpose. But that's where I fundamentally disagree with her, is that that's not what the answer is. In Christ's wonderful miracles, what He is offering to humanity, is that we can look towards Him. not ourselves, not anything else in this world, but we look towards Jesus. He is the perfecter and the founder of our faith. And He's the giver of our salvation. And how important that is, how profound that is that there is going to be a point in your life where things are out of your control. And it doesn't matter how good you lived your life, or all the right things you did, or all the things that were given to you. We're still going to need that one person who's going to save us from all this. And the answer to that is looking towards the cross of Jesus. He did it for us, we can never do it for ourselves. And He did it out of love for you with His sacrifice on the cross. That's why we turn to Jesus and gaze upon Him to find our salvation. Amen. Please rise for our prayers.